Hi everyone, it's good to see you all, and I have returned to talk about how the day went. So let's go ahead and get started. So it all started when I woke up at around 5:30 a.m. I noticed my earbuds, which I wore with me to sleep, were not in my ears, and so I decided to check the most logical place I think they would be, my earbud container. But they were not in there. So I checked my coffee mug, and they were not in there either. So that was very disappointing. And so I looked all around the floor, I looked all around my desk, until I went into one of my drawers, and there it was. I was in a mode of shock and disbelief because I thought, like, normally when I put my earbuds away, I know exactly where to put them, but it's like my body was trying to hide my earbuds from me. It was a very unique experience of playing hide and seek with yourself. Very weird. But I did find them, and I decided to put them away in here. Well, after that whole experience, I decided it would be a great idea to go back to sleep after getting a drink of water. So that's what I did. I was later woken up at around 7:30 a.m. I was asked to move my car out of the way of our family friend who I was parked behind so they could go and get some business done. So that's exactly what I did. Got in my car, moved it out of the way, they drove off. Then I parked back up to the front of the house. Went back in the house and I decided to go back to sleep again. And I stayed in bed until 10:30 a.m. This time when I got up, I decided to go and see if there was anything interesting to watch on YouTube on my phone. I came across this video where Dr. G, a forensic and psychologist body language expert, was going over the latest footage of a Trump interview. He was basically talking about how he seems to get more agitated, more angrier than usual when he's confronted with accusations, and also it didn't really help that there was some heavy rain happening in the interview area that they were in, so that was strange. But also what was strange was just how he was so short and just very condescending, and just like just constantly said just oh, there's evidence, but it'd be nice to know where the evidence is. But even if there is or if there isn't evidence, he just did seem very short and not very calm during that whole interview. He yeah, definitely did seem quite agitated in that video for sure. But yeah, and then he patted the lady's shoulder before leaving, who was interviewing him. Some people took it as being patronizing in the comment section. Others took it as him needing balance as he was leaving the area. Yeah, I don't know. If I were leaned towards one camp, I would say patronizing. Yeah, not a good look at all. Pretty bad. Pretty bad. Well, anywho, after watching that, I decided to watch another YouTube video from the channel Matt McMuscles, where he made a video about the Sega Saturn. So I watched that while eating cereal. I had honey bunches of oats with almonds and milk, and a cup of coffee. And then I opened the fridge. I noticed there was some baklava, including some in a baggie. I decided to say from voice to text on my phone to a family friend, because I suspected they were ones who got it, if that baklava was okay to have some. But then my sister overheard me and told me that 5 of the baklava in the baggie were mine. So I texted the family friend to let them know I was told about the baklava by my sister, and they didn't need to answer. But they answered back, and I said thank you. They were like, "Yeah, that's for you." So I got the baklava. I got 3 pieces out of the 5 because I didn't want to eat all of them because I already had that cereal, and that cereal was quite filling indeed. And I watched a video. So I watched 2, actually 3 Matt McMuscle's What Happened videos. The first was the Sega Saturn video. The second was the 3DO video. And the third and final one was the the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League video. Oh gosh, I sure hope YouTube doesn't flag this video all because I mentioned the name of a comic book that just so happens to have that word that YouTube doesn't like, but what can you do? Well, anywho, yeah, after that, I had gained enough viewership from those to where I was like, oh, what should I do with my time now? So I decided to talk with a chatbot about how I spend my time and how I find my motivation and what I can do to gain stronger motivation going forward. And the answers that I got were essentially just pay attention to what lights you up, what creates that spark of not doing something because you have to, but something because you want to, and also that it creates a sense of curiosity, of exploration, of joy, um, of inventiveness. So yeah, that was some interesting advice. Yeah, after that, I decided to take a shower, on deodorant, moisturizer, put on my clothes for work, and then I said goodbye to my mom and my sister, told them both I love them. I went in my car, I drove off. Eventually, I had arrived to work. I was looking for a good parking spot, and I eventually did find one. When I parked in, I got out, I punched in for the day, I greeted all my coworkers, and I put on my vest, and just hit the ground running. Pretty packed, busy day. Lots of bagging, lots of sweeping, lots of staying hydrated with water, lots of taking orders out into the parking lot for customers, including online deliveries. I don't think I did any carryouts today, though, so that's interesting. I was asked about a video where I was trying to make a funny little ad by someone, and they wanted to know how that was going. And I said, "Well, I'll work on it on my first break." Like, all right. So on my first break, I did work on it, and I got pretty far. I pretty much showed the character I wanted, and then I showed the location, the environment. I carefully described Google's Nano Banana 2 with Gemini 3.1 Pro extended thinking feature modes enabled, that I wanted a scene generated or a storyboard generated that shows exactly what I'm trying to go for. So it generated the storyboard. Then I asked for a high quality prompt that the new video generation model on Google could generate. I think it's called oh gosh, what's the name of it? It's called Google VO Omni, I think. So I asked that. I put all the ingredients in. I put the directions in, and I sent it to Google via the Gemini app on its Make a Video tab. with the storyboard, with the character frames, with the written text and how exactly I wanted the scene to play out. I got generation. It was pretty good. There was a few adjustments. I made those adjustments again. Almost there. With the second one that I made again with the third one, there was one little snag with the third one, but I just fixed with editing software and finally got something I was happy with. Yeah, after I was done with that, I went back downstairs for my break. I continued sweeping, bagging, had a fun conversation with one of my coworkers um, about how you would describe a simulation to someone, because like I was trying to describe what a simulation is. I had a difficult time. Basically said like take something that people are familiar with but recreate it in a fictional environment to give people a sense of what it's like. So I thought that was pretty good. I tried to describe it as like, oh, it's like trying to recreate something mathematically in a abstract environment, but like that fell on deaf ears to the person I was trying to explain, because they were like, "What math? I don't know. It's too confusing for me." So yeah. So that was one of the more interesting conversations had. Um, yeah. Continued bagging, continued sweeping, continued punching and sweeps on time. And then I did have a conversation with one of my coworkers who works in the meat department, and let me know about this movie coming out. I forget the exact name, but it's about like whales and squids, and it's like about going underwater and going and being under attack by these things. I'm forgetting the exact name. He showed me, he told me, and I put it in my YouTube search, and I found like what it was talking about. I clicked it and I put it in my watch later history. So I may watch it later, or I may not. We'll see. Well, anywho, yeah, after watching that, or not watching that, but learning about that, it was now time to take out the trash. I took out the trash before my lunch break, so took out the front trashes, the check stand trashes, the bathroom trashes, and the break room trashes, and the janitor's closet trash, and the back gate trash. So I got all that, put it up on the U-boat. Oh yeah, and the office trash. And I asked one of my key carrier managers to open the gate for me so I could throw away the trash. They did it. I was very grateful for that. Brought it down, threw it all away. Yeah, brought it up. It was time for lunch. So I, punching my last sweep before punching it for lunch. Punched out for lunch. One of my coworkers was punching out for the day. I said, "Have a great rest of your day." Then I went to the fried chicken area, asked for a fried chicken breast, fried chicken wing, and a fried chicken leg. Had all three of those. It was like $4.72. Not bad, under $5 for lunch. That's pretty good. But you shouldn't eat out all the time, otherwise it'll start adding up, and you don't want that. I had it yesterday, and I had it again today, so that's like pretty much like $10 and I don't know, 44 cents. So yeah, again, it adds up over time if you do it all the time. So don't do it all the time. I should make a sandwich before leaving for work tomorrow. That would probably be a good idea. But yeah, I had everything ready to go. So I went up. I bought my lunch. I went upstairs. I found out that Simeon Jimmy, one of my favorite YouTube channels, released their latest wheel video. It was called The Wheel of Torture. It was basically the host, Simeon Jimmy, and his co-host, Eggman Rodriguez, doing a bunch of torture challenges. Don't worry, they weren't like awful. There were some silly challenges that like anyone could do, but some of them are more like edgier than others, but overall they're not like all too crazy, if that makes sense. It was like a overall lighthearted, but even so, there was some stuff in there. I'm like, no, like they have these spiky, like this pad they got with spiky little like spikes on it. They say if they roll the wheel and they get it, then they've got like step on those spikes. And they said, well, we tried it on test run, and we were like, oh my gosh, this is so painful. I don't even know if we're going to be able to do this. If we probably should get socks on, So yeah, that'll be interesting to see when they land on that one. I was able to get to see them do one challenge where they overcook chicken wings, and like the chicken wings are so dry, and he tries to chug them down with like liquor, and overall he couldn't handle it after 3 shots, and like Simi and Jimmy threw up in the sink. So he failed that challenge. Then Iggy was able to get his challenge, which was, oh gosh, what was his first challenge? I'm trying to remember. It was I think it was the sour challenge, where he had to eat like a whole sour pack, the world's sourest candy, in like one go. And we had was like, oh my gosh, this sucks. So yeah, there's that. I think he did. Yeah, he did that one. And then it was Simi and Jimmy's turn. He got the challenge where you have to do a wall squat while listening to loud blaring sirens on your headphones. And he was able to do that for like apparently when he first did it, he thought he did too, like, oh, that was easy. But then future Simi and Jimmy in the editing bay cuts in to him while he cuts into from the future while he's doing that on the corner of the screen in the video, and he says, guys, I'm rewatching this video and I realized I didn't actually do a proper wall squat. So to make up for that, I'm going to do a wall squat in this video to see if I actually deserve the point. So we did a true wall squat where he actually got super low, and ultimately he failed. So yeah, didn't really work out. It's pretty funny though. Yeah, and then after that video, then it was Iggy's turn, and he decided to do these finger mousetrap things like on each of his like fingers and toes. And the way he got each one was like he yelled like, ah! It was quite shocking, not gonna lie. And yeah, that was where I had to leave things off because I need to return to work. So I returned to work. For lunch, I had the 3 pieces of fried chicken and a bag of Cheetos, just a small bag. I got one of those 19-pack Cheeto bag variety packs. So yeah, I had that, one of those, and a Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar. Went downstairs, punched back in, finished throwing out the rest of the trash. Brought up the bags, brought them to the front of the store, put them in each, check stand, and then wiped down each check stand. There was like this really rude guy who was like being rude to one of the key carrier managers. I was like, wow. It got so bad that the key carrier manager said, you called me dumb and I have the right to refuse service. So like the guy left. Yeah, that doesn't really usually happen. So the fact that happened was like, very sad. Yeah. But anywho, I was like, I need to continue my duties. So, but she talked about it extensively with the other coworkers that were around her at the time. So yeah, eventually after all that was being wiped down, one of the coworkers told me, "Hey, there's a marked card outside that's the seat's kind of wet. Could you like wipe it and bring it in?" And I was like, "Well, okay." And I brought it in, and then I asked, "Hey, why did you want me to do that?" And he was like, "Because I didn't want to sit on it." And I was like, "Well, okay." Well, anywho, after that, I finished wiping down the rest of the check stands. My coworker brought in the carts and the signs and cleared the lot. I closed the produce blinds, and that's pretty much it. Punched out, said goodbye to my co-manager, co-closer. Went outside. When I went in my car, I was like, got recommended a video about Claude, this new Claude model that just released. I forget what it was called, Claude Fable, like 5 or something. It was able to do some impressive things, like do like coding for ray traced squares and like you know spheres and cubes and stuff, and pyramids. Um, yeah, that was pretty impressive. And then I listened to this video of a guy talking about how to do like a out of body like astral projection experience. And he said you have to do it 5 hours, so you have to sleep for 5 hours, and then when you wake up, stay awake for like 5 to 10 minutes, and then when you go back to sleep, um, you have to set the intention that your mind will be alert, but your body will be asleep. And then when you go into that state, don't get freaked out by anything like any vibrations around your body or any of that. Just focus on like slightly lifting your head up, and then you'll like eventually find yourself out of your body. So I was like, oh, that's interesting. Wonder if that even worked. I don't know. It'd be interesting to try, I guess. But after that, I drove home. When I arrived home, I got out. I was feeling kind of hungry, so I poured a bowl of oatmeal with some brown sugar and some milk. I had that with some water. I watched a video of Robert Monroe talk about his astral projection, how he discovered astral projection in the 1950s, how he felt like intense vibrations until like he was just thinking about something nice, and then suddenly he felt like his shoulder hit something, and he realized he was like hitting the ceiling for some reason. And he looked down and saw like him sleeping on his bed. So that was like, dang, that's interesting. And yeah, they just talked about that he believes like expanded states of consciousness allow us to explore deeper like truths of reality and stuff. It was pretty interesting. Then after that, I decided to take my vitamins, brush my teeth, and I decided to go in my room, and I watched this like video of a guy holding like a bunch of rocks and like seeing if he could hold them on his shoulder. It was like super buff. He's like, "Yeah, I got this." It was pretty impressive. And then I decided to watch my last video from the previous night, see what I said. I was like, "Oh, pretty interesting." And then after that, I decided to make this video. So that's it for now. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now, and take care.